The very first thing Josh sees when he opens his eyes in the morning is a dirty shoe just lying on his floor, and seeing it makes him furious. He says, "What is this?" And then he sees someone sleeping next to him. He thinks, "What was I thinking last night? Why did I bring a guy like this home? Besides, flashy guys like him aren't my type." He wakes the guy up and says, "I'm sorry, but you have to get out of here right now." The guy asks, "Hey, why are you acting like this?" So he says, "I'm sorry, but I'm running late." What had happened was the previous night Josh had received a wedding invitation from his ex-fiancée, and Josh wondered why he was marrying a man twice his age. Josh thinks that maybe he should move on from his fiancée, so to forget him, he goes to a bar. At the bar, he's just drinking normally when a man comes and sits next to him and asks, "Can I sit next to you?" Josh says, "Yeah, sure." Then the man says, "I'll have the same drink." And he says, "I'm sorry, it's really loud in here, isn't it?" And then he starts smiling at Josh. So Josh says angrily, "Hey, why are you staring at me like that?" The man reaches his hand toward him and says, "You had a piece of a chip in your hair." Josh gets really angry and says, "Huh, how did that get there?" Then the man says, "I'm sorry, but I just don't think a piece of a chip belongs in the hair of such a handsome man." And seeing his smile, Josh feels like maybe he can move on with his life. And it was because of that smile that Josh took the man home with him. And now that it's morning, Josh is cursing himself, thinking, "I never bring anyone to my house, especially because his house is now a total mess. And he doesn't have a single moment to clean his house. And the cleaning agencies don't clean properly." Josh lives in New York City and he's a lawyer. His full name is Joshi Ali. He's a 36-year-old middle-aged single man who is very smart and is quickly rising through the ranks. And most importantly, Josh hates messes and the people who make them. Josh asks his secretary Elena what his schedule is for the day. Just then a man comes from the front and spills his coffee on Josh. Daniel works in their company. He apologizes to Josh, but Josh says, "It's fine, it happens." And he walks off arrogantly saying, "I knew something like this might happen, so I already have an extra shirt." Josh says, "I'm used to these kinds of things. Accidents like this can happen anytime." Just then, Ryan comes in and says, "Hey, keep it down, you'll bring the whole building down." Ryan is a huge rival of Josh's. You could call him a rival or a competitor. Josh says, "Don't you know how to knock?" Ryan replies. "The case you were working on, Michelle gave it to me." Josh says, "How is that possible? Why wasn't I told about this?" Ryan says, "You should ask the boss about that. Michelle will tell you." So he goes and asks Michelle, and Michelle says, "This is all for your own good." Josh says, "Tell me, how is this for my good?" Michelle replies, "When was the last time you took a day off? You just work all day long. And since your fiancé left, have you even met anyone else? You're always just spreading negativity." Josh asks, "But why did you give it to Ryan of all people?" Michelle says, "But I have good news for you. You like things to be clean, right? Well, we've hired a new cleaning company." And guess what? Hearing this makes Josh happy, and he says, "I'm glad to hear that." Josh says, "It's not that I like to work, it's just that I have so much work that I'm always working." Josh is doing his work when someone at the door speaks. A man comes in and says, "Your room is the last one to be cleaned. Can I clean it?" Josh looks at the man and says, "Hey, you're the same guy who was at my house with me last night. This man's name is Angel." Angel says to him, "Hey, you're that guy. It's nice to see you here." Josh thinks, "How can my life be this pathetic?" Angel says, "Can I ask you something? Why did you do that this morning?" Josh says, "I'm sorry, I panicked." Angel says, "You know how rude you were, right? No one has ever treated me like that. You called me dirty." So Josh says, "Yesterday was a mistake. Can you just forget about it?" Angel says, "Yeah, okay, no problem." Josh thinks he agreed so easily. Angel says, "So I'll start cleaning." Josh says, "Yeah, okay." He then says, "But do you even know how to clean?" Angel replies, "What kind of question is that? Do you know how to be a lawyer?" So Josh says, "Hey, what kind of question is that?" He says, "Oh, I get it. I'm sorry." Josh thinks, what if he doesn't clean my room properly? To be honest, I'm not confident that man will clean my room properly. He says it's fine. I'll get rid of my anxiety by cleaning my house. After that, Josh goes home and scrubs every nook and cranny of his house. He cleans every single room, and when his house is finally clean, Josh sleeps peacefully that night. The next day, everyone is talking about Angel. They're saying, "Have you seen him? The new cleaner is so handsome." Josh hears all this and thinks I just have to ignore all this nonsense. When he reaches his room, Ryan is in there to get the files for his case. Seeing this makes Josh furious. He says, what the hell is his problem? Seeing Angel around and hearing the song he's singing is a huge distraction for Josh. So Josh gets up to leave. Angel says, "Hey, you're leaving so soon. Usually you leave after me." So Josh says, "Yeah, because it's very noisy here." Angel replies, "Hey, cleaning is always noisy, isn't it?" Josh says, "It's better if I just go home and work." Then, in the car after getting in, he remembers, wait a minute. When he gets to his office, he can't find the files anywhere. He thinks, hey, where did the files go? Then he remembers that Ryan took the files this morning. Did he take mine too? So he goes to Ryan's room and says, "Excuse me, I think you might have my files." And as he opens the door, he catches the two of them, Angel and Ryan, red-handed. And Angel just smirks at him. After that, Josh gets furious. He slams the door shut. Later, Ryan comes out and says, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Josh enters the room and says, "You have my case files. And this time, I'm going to report you in the office meeting." Ryan says, "Come on, you need to have a little fun in life." Then Angel says, "Maybe you don't know this, but he has a lot of fun in his life." Josh says, "You promised you wouldn't tell anyone, didn't you?" Angel replies, "But that doesn't change the truth, does it?" Josh says, "You have absolutely no shame, do you?" Angel says, "You're so naive." Josh says, "You just wait, I'm going to complain about you to your company." Angel says, "Whoa, hold on. You can't report me. They'll fire me, and I can't lose my job. I'll starve to death. You know I have to make savings and pay my rent, right?" Josh says, "That's your fault. You should have thought about that before doing all this. Don't come here tomorrow." That night, Josh can't sleep at all because he keeps having dreams about Angel. He says, "What on earth does this guy want from me?" And the next day, Elena comes and asks, "Sir, have you finished this work?" But Josh is in such a bad state that he can't get any work done. And when he sees that Ryan doesn't care at all, he gets even angrier. That night, when everyone has gone home and Josh is working extra hours, Angel sees that Josh is alone in his room. He takes the opportunity to come into his room and says, "You didn't report me, did you?" Josh gets flustered and says, "Get out." Angel says, "I knew it. No matter what you're like, you're a good guy, Joshua." So Josh says, "You'll call me Joshua. And anyway, I don't have time for you." Angel says, "Hey, don't be like that." Josh says, "You can't come in." Angel says, "You didn't report me, right? So I'll give you a little present." Josh says, "Are you out of your mind?" "We're in my office." Angel says, "Come on. Who do you think you are? What do you take yourself for?" Angel says, "Don't be shy." Josh says, "No. Get out of here right now." Angel asks, "Are you upset because I did that with your enemy?" Josh says, "No. It's messy in here." Angel says, "No. Everything is fine." Josh stands up and says, "I have OCD." Angel says, "Yeah, I figured." Josh says, "If you didn't clean properly." Angel says, "Don't worry. I'm your cleaner after all." Josh says, "By the way, I should tell you it would be better if you don't get too serious with Ryan." Angel asks, "What's wrong? Are you jealous?" Josh says, "It's nothing like that. Ryan isn't even interested in guys, and he's a very arrogant person." Angel says, "Well, for your information, I wasn't serious with him, if I really want to be serious." Josh says, "No, thank you. I'm leaving." Angel says, "Okay, bye." Then the next day, Josh is doing his work. Just then, Ryan comes in and says, "Hey, Josh, you didn't report me." Josh says, "Are we in high school that I'd go around reporting you? And anyway, weren't you engaged? What about your fiancé?" Ryan replies, "Yeah, that's why I want to live a little before I get married." Ryan says, "By the way, what's going on between you and the cleaner?" Josh says, "There's nothing going on," but Ryan just laughs and walks away. Josh says, "If you spread rumors, I won't let you get away with it." Josh ends up working until evening. So Josh thinks, maybe I should go home now. Before that, when he goes to the washroom, he finds Angel there. He starts washing his hands, and Angel says, "If you need to use the washroom, you can," Angel says. "Are you going home?" Josh says. "Yes," Angel asks. "Do you want to spend time with me?" Josh says, "Hey, we only did it once. That whole thing was a misunderstanding. Okay. As Angel drags him towards the bathroom, Josh says, "Hey, this is filthy. I'm not doing it in here. Stay away from me." But Angel doesn't let him go. Josh gets really angry and yells, "I'll sue you." Angel says, "You look so cute when you're angry." Somehow Josh manages to escape and thinks, how do I get rid of this guy? It's like this guy was born just to annoy me. I'm telling you, this man is a demon. He's a monster. He's not going to leave me alone. He thinks to himself that he can't even sue the guy. Just then, he sees Angel coming towards him. He thinks that he should give him a ride, but then he thinks, no, I don't want to mess with this guy anymore. The next day, Angel is cleaning and says, "Are you working late again today?" Josh replies, "What's wrong?" Angel says, "What do you think? That I came here to clean. This is your favorite job, isn't it?" So Josh said, "But you always used to clean my room last at night." Angel replies, "I have to clean the other areas today too, so I'm doing this one first." Josh says, "Go and clean there first. You can do this later." Angel asks, "Why will I be late for something?" Josh stammers I. Angel says, "Why don't you go eat somewhere else?" Josh says, "No, you came here to annoy me, didn't you? You go first." Josh says, "You're doing all of this just to annoy me, aren't you?" Angel replies, "You're pretty cute if you think I'm doing all this because of you." They start arguing right there. Alina says, "Don't those two seem a little too close?" Ryan replies, "Well, I know what's going on with them." Alina says, "You mean something is going on with them? What is it?" Ryan says, "I'll tell you if you go to dinner with me." Alina replies, "Ryan, you don't need to flirt with me." Don't need to flirt. As time passes, night falls. Angel comes to Josh's door, knocks, and says, "I've finished all the other work. Can I clean your room now?" Josh says, "Yeah, you can." Angel says, "Tell me the truth. You told me to come later so you could make a move on me, didn't you?" Josh says, "What are you talking about?" Angel says, "Tell the truth. You wanted to get me alone at night, right?" Josh replies, "It's nothing like that." Angel says, "I know everything." Josh looks at him and thinks, well, he is pretty handsome. He then starts asking Angel about his cleaning machine, like which company it's from and how it works. Angel says, "What's it to you?" Josh says, "It cleans really well. The one at my house doesn't clean this well. Its steam isn't as powerful." Angel says, "Looks like you really enjoy cleaning. Do you want to check it out?" Elena comes in and says, "Sir, I'm going home." Josh says, "Okay, sure. See you next week. Take care." Angel says bye to her too. Elena says, "Definitely." Then the next day, Angel is cleaning when he hears a rumbling sound from his stomach. He looks at Josh, who starts to get embarrassed. Angel asks, "Haven't you eaten?" Josh says, "I forgot to eat." Angel replies, "That's not good. You should eat something." He asks, "Won't you eat anything?" Josh says, "I don't have time." Angel says, "What do you mean?" "There's no need to worry. You always work late. You should take care of your health." Josh says, "That's just your personality, isn't it?" Always meddling. Angel says, "Yeah, we can debate that, but wait a minute, I'll be right back." He comes back and gives Josh 2 sandwiches, saying, "Here, I made these for myself, but you can have them." Josh says, "No, thank you. You eat them. You're working so hard." Angel says, "And let me tell you, it's not poisoned." Josh thinks I never eat food given to me by others, but he offered it so sweetly, it doesn't feel right to refuse. Then he eats it and says, "This is pretty good." Angel says, "Isn't it?" So Josh asks, "Did you make it yourself?" Angel says, "Yes, I'm a pretty good cook." Josh thinks, this is a very simple sandwich, but it's really tasty. Angel feels really good about it. After eating, Josh says something, but thinks, it looks like he's going to blackmail me. So he says to Angel, "All right, fine, we'll go." Angel says, "So it's settled, we're going on a date. When are you free?" Josh says, "But it's just." Then Josh starts wondering which restaurant he should take Angel to and what food he would like. Josh blushes, thinking about taking him on a nice date and treating him to good food. Later that evening, he sees Angel flirting with Anna, saying, "You know I like women too." Anna says, "You're my bosses." Now that Josh has seen that, he says, "I'm going to take him to a crappy restaurant." Later that evening, when Josh goes to pick Angel up, Angel brings a bouquet for him and says, "Oh, you're here." Seeing Angel looking so radiant, Josh asks, "Did you buy this for me?" Angel says, "Yes." "Is it too much? I like buying flowers." "Don't you like it?" Josh, blushing, says, "No, it's very beautiful. Thank you." Seeing Josh blush makes Angel happy. After reaching the restaurant, Angel thinks I should have known you'd bring me to an expensive restaurant. Josh says you can order anything you want. It's my treat. So then Angel orders the entire restaurant menu. Josh is like, wow, he eats a lot. Josh says, the food here is so good. What kind of sauce do they use here? Josh says, you were telling the truth when you said you get very hungry. Angel replies, yeah, one should enjoy free food. Besides, I used to work in a restaurant. It took me a year to memorize the menu. Then Josh asks, so how did you become a cleaner? He said, after that they bullied me with my colleagues and then fired me. He says, since then I started doing cleaning work so I could save money and open my own restaurant. Josh says, wow, that's a good plan. Good luck. He thinks this guy is so naive he could be easily scammed. Angel says, okay, after dinner, let's go to my place. After this, when they go to Angel's house, it's so messy. Seeing the filth, Josh is about to have a panic attack. He says, this is your house. Meet Sam. Josh, this is Sam, my friend. They both say hello. Angel pulls him towards his room. Josh says, stop, not in here. Angel asks, why? Because of my roommate. Josh says, you know why. It's too dirty. Angel says, hey, that's pretty rude. You shouldn't say that. Josh says, I'm sorry, I don't have a choice. So Angel says, then should we go to your place? After that, they both arrive at Josh's house. Josh says, take off your shoes. Do you want to clean with me? He thinks Josh will refuse. Josh says, all right, let's do it. Angel says, really? Josh says, yeah, I want to see if you actually clean well or not. Angel gets embarrassed and says, what am I, a kid? Go on. I don't want to do anything with you. But Josh forcibly grabs and pulls him. Angel says, I don't want to do anything. Then he says to Josh, just admit it, you like me, don't you? And you know you won't find a treat like me anywhere else. Josh says, all right, I'm going. Don't come in until after I'm done. I'll change the bed sheets, okay? And don't get out of bed until I come back. Don't put your feet on the floor. Angel says, yeah, okay, I know. When Josh comes back from his shower, he sees that Angel has fallen asleep.